Shut up. Okay, no, this is working now. We're back with probably the greatest podcast you've never listened to. What's it called, my friend?
Canned Worms.
It's a good one. I like that name. It's really going to catch on. My name is Ches. I'm joined with one of my best friends in the world, Nick.
What's up?
We're back again to talk about hip-hop. I think hip-hop's a really good thing to talk about, something we're very passionate about. And we'll bring two hot topics, two hot pieces of work. What are they?
First one is Oxnard by Anderson Paak, and the other one is... fucking long name for this one. Sunset Tapes, a cool tape story from Jaden Smith.
Yeah, Jaden. He's Willie Smith's kid.
That's true.
He doesn't sound anything like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, though.
Absolutely not.
I grew up listening to them.
Actually.
Yeah, no, that... Big Willie is really, really great, but... I think...
How'd you get onto that?
Oh, I started listening to him because I got really into Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 and stuff. So I got a bunch of CDs from Vinnie's back when I used to work there for community service back in high school. And there were a few Fresh Prince CDs in there. And, you know, I just popped them into the car and they... Oh, yeah, I really, really like them. So, I don't know. Jaden Smith sounds nothing like his old man. There's a bit more profanity in it. And I don't know how I feel about that. You know, this is the kid, this is the Karate Kid. But, oh well.
Karate Kid.
But we're not going to start off with Jaden. We're going to start off with, I think, the artist of the hour. Everyone's been wanting to talk about him. Everyone's been wanting to listen to him. He started off with the well, I don't think, no, that wasn't his first album. Maybe he started off with a mixtape. But the album preceding this was Malibu, and that was a banger. I like that a lot. How do you find that?
I only just listened to it recently. My first impressions from Anderson weren't particularly great. I think that's thanks to the double XL freestyle that he did, which he can't really.
The double XL freestyle, man, back in 2016, was it?
Yeah.
That was
the same year that Malibu dropped, and me not listening to that album at all, I didn't have any good impressions of him. But after listening to it, he's very competent.
It's a vibe.
It is a vibe.
It's a big vibe.
Yeah.
This album is a bit of a vibe of its own. It's Oxnard from Anderson Paak. Quite interesting. It is his third album.
Yeah.
It is his third album, but what's really, really, really cool is that Dr. Dre mixed the whole thing. All himself. I mean, with some help, but all himself.
Yeah, so he's been signed with Dr. Dre's label Aftermath for a couple of years now. I think he got signed in 2014 actually, and he did a lot of features for his last album, Compton, in 2015.
That's right.
Which is where he got most of his buzz from after Venice, and then followed that up with Malibu, and he just blew from there. Definitely.
So we've spent quite a number of hours today listening through Oxnard. We've been taking some notes. We've been, taking the time to have a proper opinion on each individual song that's on this track.
It's a bit more formally done than from the last one.
Yeah, than the last one. The last one was still we still had enough meat on the bones to talk about, but I think we're gonna make this podcast really just a review episode. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with the first track, which is called The Chase, featuring this really awesome singer called Cardia Bonnet. I thought that this was the strongest, or one of the strongest tracks on the whole album. I thought it was a really, really strong intro. To describe its sound, it was a jazzy sound with a very retro, funky type of beat. It was very upbeat, very smooth, very lounge-esque. It's when it starts off making you think that it's going to be really similar to Malibu. I think as soon as I heard it for the first time, I thought, oh, we got another Malibu, and I'm not mad at that at all, because I really like Malibu. I didn't want him to change too much. Exploring's good, but I think too much change, kind of you'll lose fans because they're people that have come to expect you of something. So, really, really strong start. Speaking of the bass line, there was a bit after the break where the bass line was probably the saving grace of the whole song. Not saving grace, sorry. It's just it made the song.
It just came in and just hit hard, and then knew that this was something good.
It was a wincing feeling. You know, the kind of feeling where it was so good, it just made you feel, oh, I gotta rewind 5 seconds and listen to that all over again. But it kind of makes you think, like, why didn't he put that in way more? Why didn't he put it in sooner? No. And why wasn't it for longer?
Yeah. To me, this song, when I first heard it, I thought, oh, it sounds a bit more messy than it does raw. I felt like at the beginning part with all the mixed up instrumentals, it kind of sounded a bit weird. But after listening to it, I kind of like how the instrumental sounds. It kind of feels like a film score for like some 80s heist film.
It's very much an instrumental focused track.
Absolutely, yeah. But I felt like for me, with this song, its major downfall was that it's just too short.
Too short?
Because the intro for this song, it goes on for 1 minute, and the song's only 3 minutes long, and it makes you think that maybe Anderson could have fleshed it out a little bit more, put like another verse into there, had the feature artist Bonet be included a bit more in the song. Like she did the introductory vocals. She was singing with him on the outro, but that's just about it. Like how can you really just call that a feature when there's not much to it there?
So I think what you're expecting of this is to be like a proper song. Because the only reason why I'm going to give that a pass, like your negative comment on that, is
it's just an intro.
It's an intro. It's like a pilot. I think in an album, the song is allowed to sound like that because usually albums that are like artworks that's supposed to be listened through the whole way through, and I think, you know, there are albums where they'll just showcase all of their songs, and then there are also albums where the artist intends for you to listen through the whole thing chronologically.
Yeah.
You know, examples of that are obviously
Look at all of
Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. Like you've got the poem at the end of every single song, and then like he builds on that poem every single time. You're supposed to listen to that chronologically. Then there's also like, you know, other albums where the preceding song leads in to the succeeding song straight away. Like it's supposed to happen that way. Like in Metro Boomin's album that we talked about last week, Overdue's Travis Scott's Overdue literally leads into 21 Savage's song, because like you hear 21's repeating his name at the end of Travis Scott's bit.
Yeah.
So for this, what I'm trying to get at is that this intro can sound like that because it's an intro to the album, and you're supposed to listen to the album all the way through. If you see what I mean by that?
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Yeah. But I totally like understand where you're coming from, and it's totally respectable. You'll find this a lot in the rest of Anderson's songs, is that he comes out with some really nice lyrics, like really clever, colourful lyrics, and then he'll just mess it up a little bit. Like he'll mess up the flow by saying something kind of dumb. So not dumb, but like also it could be dumb, but it could also be weak. So there's this lyric in this song where he says, hard to get up from this like sunny Liston, feel like Isaiah and lame beer with the Pistons. Already that's pretty good because he's comparing himself to like really strong black icons that might fall down but they'll get back up. But then he says bad boys but no Will Smith and only real friction. Okay. Like I get where he's coming from with that, but then yeah, that's it.
Yeah. There's not much to that. There's really not a lot you can say from that. And I kind of feel like for this song, it's not awkward.
No, it's not
awkward.
It
doesn't
feel
awkward. Like he still follows the flow up. He still, he just leaves it there and he just keeps going about with something else. Doesn't dwell on it. So I think for this instance, I could give it a pass, but we can think of a lot of other examples from this album. Where
he really like falls short.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there are also times where he doesn't fall short as well. There were times when we were listening to it and we go, oh wow, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
That was really, really solid. So what's the song about? I think I wrote down that the song is, it's about classic working hard, grinding, never giving up, staying true to yourself, because there's this lyric that goes, I think the break, hold on and ride for your own, together in spirit form, with your hands I can hold, in your heart there is hope. So staying true to yourself and never giving up.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what it's about, which is a nice little way to start off.
Yeah.
Next we go into the into track 2, which is one of the funniest songs that I've ever listened to, and it's called Head Low. What's it about?
It's about Roadhead.
I do love Roadhead when it's being rapped about. That's the only time that I would like Roadhead. It's about a woman giving head to Anderson while he's driving down the I-95 in America. There's a bunch of different parts about this woman. It's not all about Roadhead. There's parts.
No, it's mostly just a sex anthem about public sex.
About public sex. It's really
just like
public sex and
try not to be seen,
try not to be caught. Yeah,
that kind of voyeurism to it.
He talks about smoking weed, then getting head in the car, and then getting head in the movies as well. He says in the chorus, need tinted windows, I think.
No.
And no, he doesn't.
No.
No. He doesn't
Windows
actually say it.
up, but
Windows are fogging up, but
the
if
next
he
song
had
does lead into it.
if he had tinted windows though, then he wouldn't have the problem of someone spotting him. I think he says, I see them watching us. People can see him getting head in the car, and I think it's kind of funny that he needed tinted windows. The next song is Tints.
Yeah. Which talks exactly about that same thing.
About hiding.
Just having your windows tinted so that people can't walk in, paparazzi can't take photos of you while you're getting roadhead or carrying lots of money or drugs in your car, just shit like that, and just having a little bit of privacy.
What I find so strange though, which I still can't seem to decipher, is at the beginning of verse 2, I don't know what head scenario this is.
Neither. Can't figure it out.
I ever tell you about the time when I running down the 9 mile, lady with the Puma sneaks sitting up on me head towel. Is he, when he says running down, does he mean literally running or driving down a 9 mile? I'm not 100% sure.
Neither.
Oh well.
Although I imagine that if you can get head while you're going for a job, that woman who's giving head to you is a keeper.
That's amazing. Keeping up, no biting. The best part of the song though is definitely the outro.
The outro is pretty funny.
The outro is so funny because you're listening to it. It's smooth, and then bam, he gets hit by a car, and he's like, oh. Keep going, and then you hear the gagging as well, and it's it's
you
so.
Can hear the skit of the lady gagging while she's
it's so insane. It's so insane.
Yeah, I was telling Scott about this earlier, but it reminds me of the song "Just Don't Bite It" by NWA, where Eazy is getting head by this girl, and you can hear her sucking him, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Ah, bitch, why are you biting my dick for?"
That's really, really scary.
Yeah.
That's a genuine fear. But it keeps up the groovy jazz vibe.
Absolutely.
The song, something you would have come to expect from the Malibu maker. There's a funky bass line, light drums in it with lots of kicks and hi-hats.
Yeah.
I find. Third track, very, very strong track. It's the main one.
Yeah.
Tints.
Probably one of the biggest singles from this album.
Well, yeah, because it got released early, right?
Yeah.
It was released first with the music video and everything. Tints featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Absolutely.
It's a much louder beat. Still groovy, but the reason why they really emphasize on the bass and the loudness of it is, I guess, because they want to aim for the mainstream. It was a single release.
Yeah.
You can tell that was supposed to be the banger.
Yeah. But it still sounds like a good single.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a cop-out, you know what I mean?
It's not a cop-out. It's not like radio only. It's actually a very, very decently made song. And probably one of the best on the album as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this song is just about him wanting to keep all of the illegal stuff that he does hidden, or all of the stuff that's frowned upon and things like that. Roadhead, you want to keep your windows tinted.
Yeah. So just getting some privacy.
I think
I think it's
the
also,
music video does it really, really well because there's like a bunch of different scenes of him like doing cocaine, him like having sex with prostitutes and things like that. I think there might have been like a murder scene at one point, and these are all the things that you want to keep hidden. But then it goes deeper than that. Why does he do it? Well, why do people do these type of things where he's from? It's like it's to get money to support your family. There's a bunch of lines in here that I flagged that were interesting or like that added to the point. Fellas dying for less out here. So if you got your fellow black Africans that are literally dying for less than anything that you're doing, and if something that you're doing it might seem like tedious, then you might as well do that thing because like either way people are gonna die, people are gonna get hurt, and that's how you survive, right? Adding weights in the bag, that's drugs. Weights are drugs usually. So drug dealing, you need to do that to get money. Baby Milo wants some bathing apes. Classic Japanese street brand, streetwear company. That's a lot of money as well. People want to live in a lap of luxury. But how do you do that? Oh, you got to do all this other illegal stuff. But the thing is, you want to keep that hidden. You want to keep your windows tinted. And then also the callback to the second song, Head Low, when he says, "Flying down that 110 with a bad in my whip."
Yeah.
Well, that's literally just the Roadhead song they were saying before. But what do you have to say about the Kendrick part, though?
I feel like for a K-Dot verse, it's just a little bit weak.
Okay.
However, that's not...
It wasn't bad, though.
It wasn't terrible. In fact, it added so much to the song. I just feel like every time Kendrick Lamar does a feature for someone, he always brings something amazing, something unique to it. This one seemed just a tiny bit lackluster. Just by the tiniest of margins.
But he's never done a bad feature.
He's never done a bad feature, but this wasn't an amazing feature. That's
the
all.
only other lackluster feature that I can think of is, I think, Problem. When he was on that with Drake and A$AP Rocky. I think he was still good, but like, if Drake sounds better than you on a feature, then I think something isn't all there.
Yeah.
He was a lot younger, though.
Yeah, he was a lot.
He was
younger.
quite...
That would have been...
2011,
2012.
Was that Good Kid, Mad City?
I think that was the same year as Good Kid, Mad City.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, though, they've never been bad.
Yeah.
So having Kendrick by your side is a good thing.
And Kendrick raps about, like, the exact same thing.
He talks about the same thing, but that makes sense only because, like, we know that Kendrick is a very private person.
Yeah.
He's super private. He says, respect me from afar.
Yeah.
So he knows that, people like him and everything, but, like, give him some distance. It would be nice to have his windows tinted.
Yeah. You're saying, need tints so that I can live with a peace of mind without people taking a piece of mine,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's some good lyrics.
Yeah,
That's called a double entendre. That's nice.
That's nice.
Also, he says bombhead is non-disclosure.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's callback
one.
Previous song. There you go, dead set. Great song. Really, really good song.
Yeah.
Next song is Who Are You? Now, how did you find this song?
This one just seems to me like your kind of typical but not so typical braggadocious...
It was a brag song.
Brag rap, yeah.
I found that the beat was so confused. There was just too much going on, like, for the beat side.
I actually didn't mind the beat that much.
Okay.
I actually did like it a lot. Dr. Dre co-produced it, and you also hear Dre.
He's featured on it.
Yeah, he's not featured on it, but he does have ad libs in the intro and the first chorus, and I think that's awesome. Like, Dre sounds good on this song, and the production's actually kind of decent. It's obviously not amazing. It sounds a little bit jumbled up, but
I like it a lot less than you're putting it across. I think you're being very, very kind to it.
a little bit.
I don't know. There was nothing that was that stuck out to me in my head.
Okay.
Except for, look at you fellas, wonder why I f***ing hate rap.
Yeah. I was looking at that one too. I was thinking, is this like some sort of diss to
mumble rappers,
the younger ones? Because the line that precedes it says, "Back in my day, you would have had your whole face smashed."
Mm.
And then on to the next line, look at you rappers wonder why I hate rap. So like, is that a shot at like the new trap lean mumble rappers? Like,
I think it is.
it could be, but
So that's what it means.
just...
Who are you? Like who are you, man? I'm Anderson Paak. I rap way better than you. I'm bringing back this old school rap, which is like what rap quintessentially is all about. Although then again, it's a whole other can of worm to describe what rap actually is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people like to say that, you know, fierce defenders of true rap would say that it's that I guess it would not be unfair to say that Anderson Paak is trying to do his best to keep it alive.
Yeah.
You can hear that in the type of music that he's making.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's very, very, very super duper true in track 10 later on with Snoop Dogg, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have anything more to say about Who Are You. I'm not a fan.
I feel like just for that line, it's neither here or there.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't dwell on it long enough.
No, he doesn't. But that's the only time he talks about it.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, that's it.
So yeah, it just seems like a typical brag rap, but he does well over the production. Even if the production isn't as great as I put it out to be, I feel like he at least rapped well over it. I feel like for the other kind of brag raps for this album, he isn't really as on point as he is on Who Are You.
Yep, definitely. Track 5 is 6 Summers. This is his big political one. This is the one where he really wants to stand up, and you know, this is that Trump hate track.
It's kind of advertised like that, but
he says more than that. The first half of it had me confused. The first half had me groaning like, this is the Trump thing. But then as I started listening more to it, it was more about like world peace and like fighting for black rights and things like that. And I thought, okay, you know, I respect that way, way, way more.
For a Trump diss, there's not a lot of meat on its bones.
Yeah.
So like,
for a Trump diss,
it's a lot more than what it's really being pointed out to be so far.
Well, what's the big thing that's to do with Trump here is he's calling out Trump for having this love child, this illegitimate child, and I think his way of saying "f you" to Trump is by saying if his illegitimate child gets a good life surrounded by things that are polar opposites to Trump's values. So, you know, he says, I hope she sips mezcal, which is, you know, an exotic drink, and Trump is not very exotic himself besides the terrible tan. I hope she kisses senoritas. So not only are they Latina, and, you know, Trump has been is perceived to be against Mexicans, but also they're women. So, like, I hope that, you know, she kisses women, she's a lesbian. And black girls, and I hope her mom is so from El Salvador, and her dad sticks around as well. And these are all things that I've written down as notes as polar opposites to Trump's values.
Okay.
Or the way he presents himself.
Okay.
I think that's... Look, I probably went into it way deeper than it needed to be.
Maybe
because he sounds really clumsy in this when it comes to Trump's part.
Yeah. He does say a few other things about Donald Trump. He's mentioning...
Like he's lying and things like that.
He's mentioning, you know, we know you're lying, we don't trust you. Talking about him starting wars on his Twitter feed, how, you know, he's causing so many tirades and just problems on Twitter, like him calling out, who was it, Kim Jong-un, and now Emmanuel Macron as well.
Kim Jong-un. You said King Jong-un.
Did I? Excuse me for that.
But other than that, like if you look past the whole Trump diss, it's actually pretty good in terms of the message he's trying to get across. He's criticizing not just the president, but like the American view on gun laws, being that there's money to be made in a killing spree. When in school shootings and things like that, when there's been shootings, I think gun sales increase.
Yeah.
Like AR-15s specifically. So there's money to be made from people dying in like their own home country.
I feel like the NRA here is a much bigger target than what Donald Trump is. Talking about people getting, you know, police brutality and people, black people getting killed for, no reasons.
No reason. And
And then, like, in the last, also, like, the biggest part of it, the last couple of lines in the third verse, saying, Billy copped the Desert Eagle and it's legal to tote it. Little man bullied out of his Pumas, but why'd he have to shoot the whole school up?
Yeah.
Talking about, all the school shootings that's happened, like, over the decades, even. And, like, people, like, every single time it happens, no one wants to talk about gun reform. People just want to talk about, protecting the schools and putting, bulletproof plating in backpacks instead of, forcing, gun laws on the people. Just, that's the majority of what he's talking about here. And I think it's a clearer message than just a Trump diss here.
And he's asking for reform.
Yeah.
He says it multiple times. Reform should have come sooner. We need to talk about this chorus as well. This gone bang for at least 6 summers. It's the second year of Trump's presidency at the moment. And with the way things are looking, for some reason, like, just... When I say the way things are looking, as in I'm thinking... The way Americans are, they elected Trump, and a lot of them are quite pro-Trump. It's very probable that Trump could get elected for a second term. Yeah. So that would mean 4 more years on top of the 4 years. If this is his second year, or he's finished 2 years now, 6 more summers means 6 more years, which means that would finish off the 8 years of the 2-term presidency. Yeah. That's why this song is gonna bang for 6 more summers, because that's as long as Trump will be president.
As long as Trump will be president, this song will keep being played. I think that's the message that's being said here.
Bang is also means for guns shooting.
Yep, of course.
Guns are still gonna be used to kill people, like children in schools, for as long as Trump is in presidency, and that's what he's trying to get at. So I think when I listened to this without the lyrics, I disregarded it because I didn't like the sound of it. I still don't like the sound of it. Yeah. I think I hate this song.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are great.
The lyrics are really great, but the beat is nothing too special here. In fact, it's a little bit wonky in the beginning.
I find it boring.
Yeah.
When he said this gone bang for at least 6 summers over and over again.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna bang for a while.
He doesn't care though.
Yeah.
Because this is a statement. If anything, yeah.
There is a beat switch in the song, which I find
the little breakdown to go when it goes smooth.
Yeah. So from the I think the first chorus, it starts to break down a little bit and just become a little bit more smoother in the second half and a little bit more easier to listen to. But not a fantastic production here. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, by the way, if you hear screaming in the background, it's my housemate. Yeah, I don't understand either, but oh well. Next, I think we can move on to track 6, Saviour's Road. I think, just trying to remember it. It was a really, really super calm beat, and it had finger picking on the guitar. I don't think there was a single chord played. I can't remember. I don't think there was any strumming. It was just all finger. Finger picking. Very slow.
Very smooth.
The whole point of this, what was the point of the song? I think the song was about selling drugs in order to survive on the street, but the only way that you could anyway make money was through this illegal trade. He ties God into it a lot by saying, if you don't believe in, I think, not dreams, but if you don't believe in being able to live in this type of place, then I don't know how to. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not.
Yeah, I think for both of us, this song feels really kind of disjointed. So
it is.
For the verse starts out with him talking about his life, which, if you didn't know, Anderson Paak, before he was making music, he was actually working on a marijuana farm where he was producing drugs and also cutting them up for them to be sold and exported. he starts talking about that, and he kind of just finishes his verse talking about flexing on all of the people that didn't believe in him. And it's just somewhere the lines just get blurred, and those two topics just kind of become interjointed, and there's not a huge amount of structure there, and it's hard to really know what he's talking about. Obviously, from the name of it, Saviour's Road is meant to be a street from his hometown.
And this is the street where like lots of drug deals took place, I think.
Okay.
I think
that makes a bit of sense to it then.
There's
I think actually because he's talking about in the last verse, every now and then I park the Beamer in the gallery, show off the paint for spectators and the faculty. I think that's him parking his new fancy shiny car on this main road, Saviour's Road, for people to look at and say, oh, that's Anderson. Remember 10 years ago when he was just cutting up drugs, now he's living it big? Something like that.
Is it to... Oh, it's a motivation, I think, to continue hustling, and then also to continue in God.
I guess so.
God's plan. Drake is in this song. I think...
There are a few religious motifs to it.
There's motifs. It's very confusing.
Falling to my knees right now. I would sell you faith, but you people don't believe. And then in the break after that line, Lord forgive them for they know not what they do. But God, if you're listening, I can still reach you. So apparently, Saviour's Road, he's meant to be saved by someone, by God or something, which doesn't feel like it in the verse. So it's a little bit misjointed. I feel like the connections there could have been made a little bit better. But production-wise, it was actually very good. Ninth Wonder produced it, of course, fantastic. He's worked on so many Kendrick Lamar albums. He's, amazing. Nothing bad to be said about that. But not much else is going on for this song. It's also very short. It feels like a throwaway.
Saviour's Road?
Yeah, it feels too short to me.
Next song, track number 7 is Smile/Petty, so it's split into 2 parts. Smile starts off as like a really slow R&B type thing. They're both about the same thing. I mean, they just tie in to each other. I think it's a song about... Oh, it's just like a woman that's really annoying to him. Yeah. And it drives him up the wall the whole time. And then the second half is like this really like cooler, like more fun, upbeat type thing. We were we were discussing, we were like super confused about what the line meant when he says, back when chit-chatting casually about how you think monogamy is something of the past. But, baby girl, your actions speak something totally opposite. You have to pardon me because I'm a dog, you see. And if you lead me to the park, I break up off the leash. Now, Moy, so how did you interpret it first?
We were just trying to figure out, is someone cheating in this relationship? And if that's the case, who is it? Because at the moment, I used to think that it was the other girl who was cheating. But when you look at those lines, chit-chatting casually about how you think monogamy is something of the past, kind of makes you think that
she's pro.
As a background to this song, they want an open relationship. Like, they want to be together for like sex and stuff, but they want to be able to, have sex with someone else every so often. And if they both agree on it, that's okay. But then later on in the track, he seems to keep going about this girl being disrespectful and crazy, becoming a nuisance to him, saying, spilling bleach in the laundry bag, stressing my mama, pushing dents in my armor, scratching, denting my Pontiac, to you off your shit. So essentially, what I figured this song out to be is these two people coming together, agreeing on having an open relationship. Then Anderson decides that because it's an open relationship, he's going to sleep around just a little bit, reasonably, but still be committed to this person, and this girl doesn't like it.
I think so as well.
That seems to be what I'm getting from here. There's not like a whole lot to give you that, and it certainly will take you a few listens to try and figure that out. But that seems to be what the content of the song is about.
Next song, track 8, is Mansa Musa featuring Dr. Dre, and now this is a proper feature for Dr. Dre.
Yeah. So obviously with Dre being on it, it's another trap rap.
I think... Yeah, so this is really, really fast-paced. I think this is the most fast-paced one.
Probably, yeah.
But... I don't know. I disliked it because of Dre. I didn't like Dre's feature at all because he put on this accent.
He did put on a little bit of an accent.
He put on a bit of an accent, but he doesn't sound like how he usually does with that more serious type thing. He sounded more jokey, which I guess is cool and all, but leave the jokes with like Eminem. The jokes with Eminem were great, but then on this thing, it makes more sense for him to have that quintessential Dr. Dre sound, and I feel like he kind of tried to change it up too much in this track.
Maybe. Although I feel like the last song where Dr. Dre and M was rapping on it was a very serious song back on the Compton album, Medicine Man, you know.
Okay, sure, but
they were both just, very hard sort of, very hard rap about it, which actually Anderson Paak was featured on that song as well as them. Anyway, yeah, Dre puts on a little bit of an accent there, but I like him being a little bit more carefree. I do like that.
Well, this is just another brag track, which I don't think needs
it doesn't
very much time.
I will say that the other rapper featured here, Coco Sarai,
is annoying.
It sounds annoying.
But she sounds exactly like Nicki.
Yeah, I was about to say that. She sounds like Nicki Minaj, but if she was listening to the same reference tracks that Dr. Dre does. Everyone knows that Dr. Dre doesn't write his own lyrics. That's kind of fine because he does a lot of producing with it. But, if Dre took all of his reference tracks and gave them to Nicki Minaj, that's who this artist would be. Nothing really interesting or funny to say from that. But Anderson raps pretty well on this one, I'd say.
I don't know. I
think the first half of it.
I think it's forgettable to me.
Okay.
Track 9, Brothers Keeper, featuring Pusha T, probably one of our least favourite tracks on the whole album.
We just can't understand what this song is meant to be.
We also just hate Pusha T. We also just don't like Pusha T. But we just don't understand what this song's about. Like, it's actually too confusing to properly decipher with any amount of, I guess, intelligent guessing.
Okay, for the record, I don't hate Pusha T. I recognise, clips and Hell Hath No Fury and, some, he's put out some fantastic work and some great verses, so I won't
yeah, Pusha T sucks.
I won't put him down for that. I'm not going to say Pusha T sucks, but it doesn't make sense for him being on this album.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit.
There's really not... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go into this so much simply because it's if we talk about it, it will be a waste of time because we don't know what we're talking about. There's like one line in this whole thing, though, that really triggered us. You want to read it out?
Still an underground king, but the money's Jason Derulo.
Oh, man, I don't know why. Like, you're trying to compare yourself. I know, we understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to talk about how your money is like a pop star's money. It's a lot of money. But you use Jason Derulo just to rhyme with Pluto?
Please, no one ever mention Jason Derulo again, either in a song or in person. Please don't do it.
That's no good.
Just, why does anyone look up to him?
Well, we've been in a little bit of a slump with this album so far. There have been a few songs that have kind of been letting us down a little bit, but it goes up with track 10, Anywhere, featuring Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Now this is real G-Funk right now.
Yeah,
this is proper G-Funk. And it's good.
This is actually bringing it back.
This is bringing it back, and Snoop talks about that. And Snoop pulls through as classic Snoop. This is the thing. I wanted Dre to sound like classic Dre, and I was like, but then when Snoop came on, he sounded like Snoop, and everything was all good in the world.
I feel like between Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, I feel like Dre has kind of tried to, advance on his sound a lot, and that means bringing it into this modern age of where, trap music and this big bunch of brag rappers kind of king. But Snoop Dogg, I feel like he remembers his roots a lot better. Sure, he's tried to, branch out before. He's doing like...
Oh yeah, you're not about to forget about Snoop Lion.
I'm not Snoop Lion, and some of the techno traps that he's tried to do. But he's still very connected to his roots. And even like if you hear him rap and you hear him freestyle on like his YouTube channel, like he's still as G-Funk as ever, and he's never changing that.
Yeah, I think if I were to comment on Anderson on this though, it's just, it's not much. Hey, there's actually not much of Anderson on this.
Yeah, there isn't, and I feel like there's a lot of conflicting topics that are trying to be made here.
Yes, that's the thing. He needs to stick with one topic. That's why we liked the second one, Headlow, a lot. The one about him getting head, because this is what I think. This is what you were talking about in the last podcast episode, where if we like it when rappers talk about like a story, even if it's something silly or funny, but then they make a whole story out of it. And they just talk about the whole thing. Anderson did that with the Blowjob song.
Yeah.
And he just made a whole story about that. And that's great.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Moving on to track 11. Trippy featuring J. Cole.
Cole.
So good, J. Cole.
Yeah.
He's so good on this. His flow is just absolutely terrific. And this is going back to the whole storytelling thing that we like.
J. Cole is almost the king of storytelling rap. You listen listen to songs like Lost Ones, Wet Dreams, Through Adolescence, For Your Eyes Only. Cole is king of storytelling rap, I'd say. I'd only say like he'd probably be behind some artists like I'd say maybe Eminem, Stan, but like nowadays he's fantastic at that. And when he makes bars like that, like the one like the verse that he dropped on this album, that's all Cole fans really want to hear. Just him and his experiences and how he articulates those.
What's this song about? I think isn't this song about they're just talking about their love and intimacy with their respective partners.
Yeah, so
if we're talking about J. Cole though specifically, what does he rap about?
Cole is rapping about a girl that he used to hang around with when he was younger, but then lost his connection with. Him trying to, look her up on Facebook and try and see if she's still around, maybe send a message to her. Him not being able to do that.
But then they link up eventually.
And they link up eventually after he becomes famous and after they meet after one of his shows. And then eventually they...
get it.
They get back together.
They get back together, which is really nice. And the thing is, like, he manages to talk about all of that without it feeling too rushed in the space of what should be the length of 2 verses. And that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
He's featured on it and he told like a little story like that. Yeah. And I think that's very talented. He's very talented. I don't know, Anderson Paak is just talking about it more with the physical side.
Yeah. I feel like for this song, like...
He looks immature compared to J. Cole. He looks like a little kid. That's what he sounds like.
A little bit. But he still stays right on topic with what they're talking about. I mean, when he says things like, meet me in the middle, come meet me in the middle, I think he's trying to, somewhere between, people that are just, having sex together and, like, people that are, like, close friends. So I think, like, he's asking for... Not, like, this sounds like a stereotypical Anderson Paak sex anthem, but it's about more of the connectedness than just the actual sex part of it. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like how, they're looking for something that is more intimate. And that's cool.
Cheers. That's track 12, featuring Q-Tip.
So officially, I feel like this is officially the final cut. Because I feel like the other 2 songs, the 2 ones after this, it feels
the last 2 are bonus tracks.
Yeah, they feel like bonus tracks. Like, you listen to them and you think, how does he round out the track list with this? And then you realise that they're both bonus tracks. So, and in typical Anderson Paak fashion, he brings on a very prominent rapper, Q-Tip, from A Tribe Called Quest. I think in the Malibu album, he brought... who was it?
Q-Tip was on it, wasn't he?
For the last album? No, it was... I'm thinking... It was Talib. Talib Kweli.
Oh, maybe, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. So
yeah, wait, what's...
huge influential rappers on the last song with Paak. Seems to be his little motif at the moment.
what's this song about, Moiso?
So, this is kind of more of a, I wouldn't say it's a brag rap, but it's more sort of like, thankful for, the come up,
Mm-hmm.
and, him, being famous. But he does talk a lot about his remorse for the people who couldn't join him. Particularly, he talks about
Mac
Miller, who passed away recently.
Other than that, yeah.
And Q-Tip, I feel like for a lot of his bars, Q-Tip is also talking about Fife Dog, who passed away a few years ago as well. Yeah. Back in the day before you were a dog and you were just pup.
Wasn't that back in 2014?
That was 2016.
16. When did we watch Kendrick live?
We saw Kendrick live in 2014.
Because I thought that's what he got us to start shouting.
No, they got you to start shouting it in 2016, but I wasn't in Australia at that time. I was in France during my exchange.
Yes.
So I couldn't see him at that time.
That's right. Okay. Oh, the
It's
fact
funny
that you even
because
know that's insane.
It's funny because when I was there with Scott in 2014, we were there to see Eminem and Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole were featured on them, and they're both our
We've
favorite
seen
artists
Kendrick
now.
and J. Cole live.
But back at that time, I had no idea who J. Cole was.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Kendrick Lamar was until he started rapping Swimming Pools and Mad City.
Yeah.
And I only knew those songs from watching Vines.
That's it. It was only from Vine that we knew about Kendrick. That's
exactly,
insane.
yeah. So
yeah, wow. And
then
then
how it comes together.
So I don't know. We're not gonna bother going into the bonus tracks for this one. I think
I do want to talk about
Sweet Chick. Actually, sorry, no, Sweet Chick is actually amazing. What am I talking about?
But before we go into that, I feel like we should talk about the production for this one, because when we heard it, especially the outro, we were both pulling comparisons between this song and a lot of the songs from Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly.
It was from All Right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The little trumpet stuff in there sounds almost identical to All Right.
Yeah. So at the very end, during the pre-chorus, chorus, and the outro, a saxophone comes in, and when you listen to it,
that's it.
You instantly think that it's from a lot of the songs from To Pimp a Butterfly, and you can't just put in a single song there. It sounds like These Walls, it sounds like You, it sounds like All Right. And there, you can just draw so many comparisons to that.
It sounds like, yeah.
Yeah.
This song, though, the reason why we like it so much, because it's carrying on that whole storytelling type thing. Pick a silly topic and then stretch it out for the rest of the song. In this, it's Sweet Chick. So he's talking about all these different sweet chicks that he's been with. So first one is, I got me a sweet, and then I got me a freak, and then what's next? I got me a Zanho. And then I think there's a cougar as well.
He's basically talking about all the girls that he's been with, and the ups and downs of him.
And he characterizes them,
putting a relationship in with them. Sweet person who
a yogi as well.
Yeah, just like a cheap broad who's putting stripping and putting away money and just cussing out being really mean to hospitality workers, messing with a Zanho who's mumbling and hard to understand though.
Just like a little Zan.
Yeah.
Right, that's what he's trying to get at, mumble rappers and stuff.
Yeah. Having sex with a skater who likes...
Oh, wait, where's the line? Where's the line?
Got a skater she a gamer, gotta take her to arcades and she'll be watching anime while I'm laying wanna go to Comic-Con and come down a bit. That's amazing. I think
the fact that he even talked about that.
I think the selling point for here is him having a gangster girlfriend as well, and he's being if I try to take her to a party, she'll shoot up the room, and you hear her ad-libbing in the background everybody run all your money, and then at the end of it, as he's saying the last verse, he's talking about
she comes in. She comes into the room as he's bragging about all these other.
Yeah, just and and just rolls in right there while he's recording. And I think that's a very funny outro. And just a very good storytelling song as well. DJ, the Chicago kid, features here, but I don't feel like he brings a lot to the table other than
really.
like occasional ad-libs and things.
Yeah, he wasn't really needed. I think Anderson could have covered that anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Last but not least, really quickly, because we got to get on to Jaden, is, well,
probably the worst song he's ever made.
This is the worst song. This is definitely the worst song. It's called Left to Right, and it's just this, he puts on a Jamaican accent, and he uses just Jamaican words the whole way through. And we're like, we don't care about cultural appropriation. No, we do care about cultural appropriation, but like, it's not, to us, it's not so.
It doesn't feel
profound.
Yeah, it doesn't feel profound. It kind of feels like he's running this accent into the ground. It's almost like Eminem with relapse. Like, he literally runs the accent into the ground. Like.
Yeah, like, no, there's nothing more to say. We don't like the song. We don't really want to talk about it.
As soon as you listen to this chorus, you're like, no, turn the song off.
Yeah, look, I think if anyone does the whole fake Jamaican thing, best is probably just Drake. And even then, Drake gets so much flack for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, we're fine with Drake doing it, like, in terms of like how it sounds. So that's it. That's our review for Oxnard. I think came out 3 weeks ago, so we've been a bit slow on it, but exams are over, so you can expect way more reviews. Now we've got to quickly transition over.
Before that,
how
would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, I would. So Anthony Fantana from The Needle Drop gave it a light 8, which I think is too generous.
I think that's too generous too.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
I was gonna say the same.
6.5 for me.
No, just a 6 for me.
Yeah.
Just a 6.
Yeah, not a 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Now we're moving on to Jaden Smith, the Sunset Tapes, a cool tape story. This album is it succeeds his Sire album, Beautiful Confusion.
Would you actually consider this an album or a mixtape?
No, it's an album with no features. It's properly, but you know, it could be a mixtape. But no, it definitely is, like, it technically is an album.
Yeah, because I feel like if you call it the Sunset Tapes, a cool tape story, then, like...
That's just for the vibe, like, tapes, like cassette tape, you know, you're lying in a field, mountain, things like that. That's what he's going for.
Yeah. So, for the record, before we get into this, I'm not a Jaden fan. I'm not a Jaden hater, but I just haven't listened to any other music from him.
I, on the other hand, loved his Sire, A Beautiful Confusion album. I think it really, I guess, consolidated him as a proper rapper. All of his stuff before, like what has he made before? He made that Pumped Up Kicks remix back when he was like 15.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really count. But he hasn't, all of his other stuff.
He also did make that song for the Karate Kid movie.
Never Say Never with
man.
Justin Bieber. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think that they count. But it leaves that lasting impression in your head, thinking that, you know, he's just Will Smith's kid. That's, like, just trying to make art and stuff like that. And, you know, it's hard to, I guess, take him seriously with all the tweets and the stuff and the crazy stuff he's been saying.
Yeah, a little bit.
When Sire came out, I listened through the whole thing. It's a properly good art project. He throws really good bars in. He produces most of his stuff, and you can tell because he's always going for that same synthy kind of vibe, and I think it's quite coherent. This new album, though, it's not another story. It is that same sort of synthiness, but it's another story in the sense that I don't think it's just as good. I don't think it's as good. It has that mixtape feel to it, feeling like it's unfinished. Like, I think he took a step backwards in terms of professionalism with this song.
Yeah. I
think he's letting the success of Sire go to his head. He's resting on his laurels and he's not making something that's better. More so you can agree with me all you want, but you haven't heard Sire. So let's just go on with this one.
Yeah, I won't say too much.
From someone who has listened to Sire and someone who hasn't, I think you're going to get a very unbiased review.
Yeah,
of this,
I feel like I'll just say that it's not a fantastic introduction to him.
It's not great, yeah. It's a good way of starting. Okay, so we got to start off really quickly with Soho. This is the first one on the track. This is okay. I'm not gonna say that this sounds synthy because they all sound synthy. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
not. I'm not gonna. Everyone just listen to it and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
So this song is about a girl that has like messed him up so bad. This is his ex-girlfriend, I think. I think this is his public breakup announcement as well with this other girl, which is funny because now we know whether or not it's a joke, whether or not it's a troll. But he's currently going out with Tyler the Creator. I don't know. It got announced last week, but last week was when he came out with this album, so it kind of like makes sense. Maybe he was waiting to talk about because a lot of the songs are about his ex-girlfriend in this.
Yeah.
Most of them are angry.
A lot of these songs are just breakup or makeup songs. Or not really makeup, but just, talking about past lovers or a lover.
I think it's just this one love. I think.
Yeah.
Because he's quite young. Like, he's younger than us.
Yeah.
I think, by a few years. So here he's talking about this girl that has messed him up so bad, so he uses the auto-tune to make him sound delirious almost. So he sounds terrible in it, but it's on purpose because he's totally messed up with this girl. Said she want to go to Soho, which is, it's not just the really super expensive neighborhoods in London and New York, but it's also a private club type thing. Like a tropical place. So basically what he's saying is this girl just wants him for his money.
Yeah.
Basically. And yeah, he's just drinking, money. A lot of these are pretty braggadocious. It's not like Anderson, where Anderson is like in his 30s. He can talk about life experiences a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more meat on the bones. Here with Jaden, I think all he can talk about really is just money and then maybe this one relationship he had. So a lot of the things are going to be the same, which means we can move very quickly through these tracks.
I would just say, just about from a musical standpoint, for a lot of this song, Jaden is kind of sticking to the same rhyme scheme. Soho, slow-mo, low,
so flow
cold.
like Antonio.
It does remind us of that as well. The joke song that Post Malone did with H3H3 Productions.
So good.
That's
So
hilarious.
good.
But I feel like him dragging on with these multi-syllable rhymes for just bars upon bars upon bars, like, I think he thinks that to him that sounds good, but to me it just really doesn't, because when you're rapping, when you're finding things that just rhyme with Soho and you drag that on for 3 verses, a chorus and a pre-chorus and a break, it doesn't sound too professional. And I think he does that for a lot of these songs. I think for when he's just straight rapping, like for the next song, it's actually something coherent. So let's talk about that.
But why is that? Because the second track is called A Calabasas Freestyle. It's a freestyle.
Yeah.
So,
I still feel like it's written though.
Yeah, it's definitely polished. However, keeping it in the freestyle vein, it sounds way more colourful. It is a brag thing, but like I'll let that pass because it's a freestyle. But it's really, what I mean by colourful lyrics is that he's not going for that mumble rap crap.
Yeah.
He's going for something that has a lot more substance to it.
Yeah.
A lot of these lyrics are...
Some of these bars are weird.
They're weird. Okay, a lot of them are really, really, really weird. Is he a furry confirmed? I'm not sure. He goes, rap is just one of my fetishes, like a dragon that's pregnant.
Yeah, what's the point of that line?
What was the point of that? I'll let it slide, maybe because it's a freestyle, but then at the same time...
There's another line here where he's like, tell the future Kama Sutra got the latest, let him in. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, there's just a lot of bars that he's trying to sound so fantastical, but like
he's tweeting again. It's like his tweets. He's just putting his tweets in there. But there's some other stuff that sounds really, really sick. Like the line 10 black sheep deep. They just want us to blend in. That's what the neural net will say when the AI is sentient. And I think that's leaves a lot more to think about.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty good. I'll give him credit for that. Yeah. This is also, I can't remember on Sire whether or not the use of the N-word was that prominent, like was that frequent. I can't remember. But in this specific song, this is the first song in my head where I've gone, whoa, he's saying the N-word like a lot, and he's saying it quite harshly as well. So I think he's really trying to break away from, the image of him being that kid. Remember, Will Smith's kid.
Yeah.
Because remember, Will Smith has never said a swear word in his life in his music. I've never heard him swear in his music.
Yeah.
As the Fresh Prince. He keeps it very, very clean. So yeah, I think he's just trying to break off from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, other than that,
I feel
decent freestyle.
I feel like the outro is taking the piss a little bit.
Yeah. We got to quickly move on now to track number 3. Play This on a Mountain at Sunset. Now, this was super weird, and it wasn't very good. I'll let it slide only because of the title. The title says Play This on a Mountain at Sunset. So that leaves a lot to be interpreted as an artistic piece.
It does have a sort of psychedelic feel to it.
That's the point. It's about
like
a drug trip.
Not so much a rap song, then it is just like a kind of vibe. It's
a vibe. That's the whole point of this. That's why you would play this on a mountain at sunset.
Yeah.
That's why I'll give it a pass, because it doesn't sound like a proper song. It's what we were talking about with Anderson Paak's intro.
Yeah.
It felt like a piece rather than a full song. This sounds exactly like that.
Yeah. Although I do feel like it could be a little bit polished, because he does say in the song that it's kind of supposed to be a lullaby, but it sounds like the messiest lullaby I've really heard.
Yeah, whatever.
And I feel like, for a vibe or a lullaby or whatever you want to call this thing, it sounds blown out of proportion, and Jay's ad-libbing, I guess you could call here, it just sounds like lean rap.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound too appealing. And I guess you can kind of get that from a song like this, but I feel like he could have executed something a little bit better here. Also, like I said before, with him carrying on with these rhyme schemes for long periods of time and not having, any structure to it.
That's true.
The line going off like a landmine or blowing up like a landmine, like that doesn't fit here. This is weird. Whatever, man. But I guess you can kind of give it a pass, but I'm not keen on it.
Track number 4, Plastic. This was every album has that single that they release. This was his one. This was Plastic. There was a music video to it. Music video is vulgar in the sense that it's the same kind of like rap thing that you see and everything and stuff. He's a kid with too much money.
Dancing in front of his car, just
yeah, the same thing. This is the first thing I wrote down with mumble rap.
Yeah.
Straight. This is proper mumble rap.
The first thing I wrote down as I heard this was this is a Future impression.
Yeah.
It sounds so much like Future.
But the sample that they use. I wrote down that. Did they sample the Spider-Man theme? It sounds like the beginning of Spider-Man, like the first Spider-Man by Sam Raimi. It sounds like that. If you listen back to it again, it reminds me of like a movie soundtrack.
I didn't catch that at all.
But interesting.
But looking on Genius, it doesn't sample anything.
No, but it reminds me of that. He also says haterade. Get out. He says haterade. So this is a brag. It's about spending money. I think plastic means credit cards.
Yeah.
Probably. It's just brag. That's it.
We will say that the second half of the verse, he actually,
that was good.
Pretty hard.
That was hard.
Yeah, that was good. Like, he wasn't just... It's not just some auto-tuned, very slow Migos Future style rap. He's actually,
got a very nice flow.
He actually gets his rap on in the second half of the verse, and it sounds pretty decent. Definitely. And I wish he would do that a bit more, because that's where he should be going. That's where I feel it works well.
Track number 5, Distant. I really like the whole storyline thing of this whole thing. I'm a big fan of this one. It's a storyline of not knowing if the girl likes him back.
Yeah.
This is it's something that we can relate to a degree though, because he's talking about, like, he brings money into it all the time and stuff like that. You're like, oh, okay, like, whoa, like, why are you so scared about this girl maybe
Yeah.
not liking you back. You got so much money, but either way, I think that the way he describes like all the little things that he's trying to do for this girl, he's not sure if the feelings are like reciprocated. And then there's that one line at the very end that like made me wince. And then Nick, you heard me say it. Where is it? She goes, I really love our friendship.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
She says,
boy.
"I love our friendship." My heart dropped when I saw you sent it.
Sorry, Jay.
It's kind of like a kick in the feels.
Yeah, but like he can buy a Tesla and cry in it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I guess it just goes to show that even the biggest stars like that can't really get every girl around.
The
That's,
outro, he says, "Down by home, I've seen this road before. I don't know if your soul can pay the toll."
I actually like the outro.
No. Yeah. So
It
what I'm getting
sounds-
at is that he's been hurt before. Like he's seen a girl kind of maybe use him for his money before, and he's not super sure if the feelings that this girl is exhibiting are real towards
Yeah.
him. So he's been once bitten, twice shy. That's what he's getting at, I think.
Yeah. Oh, the reason I say I like the outro is because this is a 6-minute song.
Oh yeah, true.
And I think the outro goes for almost half of it, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
But the outro,
I like this song.
if you can stick through it, I feel like it's actually nice because the way that he harmonizes his voice on it, it kind of reminds me of the outro to "Father Stretch My Hands" from Kanye West. The part where Caroline Shaw comes up at the end of it, and I actually like how it sounds.
Not bad.
It's not too bad, and also the verses work pretty well as well with it.
So, in case you weren't aware, Jaden Smith talks about his ex in this album, and he makes it very apparent in track number 6, "Better Things," where it's a breakup diss track. He's very, very angry at her in this. He bought her diamonds, but she doesn't need them. He wants her to accept his Hennessy, but she's got better things. She rejected his wedding ring. He did all these things. Like, obviously, it's so pretentious, but
Yeah.
that's why I don't like the song. I think it just sounds you sound like an idiot, dude.
Yeah.
You sound like an idiot, but not in the way that Jaden Smith sounds like an idiot. In the way like you sound like a douche.
Yeah, it kind of it doesn't sound. Yeah, it doesn't really give you a good impression of the guy. Also, the song's very, very short.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
minute 50.
So, like, did you even
just
like this
one-
girl? Did you even like this girl?
Yeah.
Or, like, if you're gonna make a diss track about her and it's only a minute 50 long, like, was she really that profound to you?
Seems like they were just in it for it seems like they were just in it for the sex and the good times for it.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not gonna spend much more longer on this track. Oh yeah. Then there's a thing where he says, she's a Beatles fan.
I'm gonna let it be.
All right. Moving
that
on.
line can right off. Thank you.
I'm so bad. Track number 7. Yeah. It's the Latino vibe, right?
It's dancehall.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of what Drake does.
Yeah.
This is different. I don't know if this is about his ex, but this is a song about having a successful relationship.
Yeah. You don't see too many of them on this album, actually.
It's cute.
So yeah.
It's cute. He's just talking about eyes, hips, everything, things like that. I like this song, in a way. Like, it's not the best one, but I don't dislike it at all.
I feel like it's not bad. It just feels a little bit generic.
Yeah, it does feel generic.
Yeah. I feel like, to me, not being a Jaden fan, there's nothing too special going on here.
Moving on into track 8. Track 8, Sire and Abbey Road, is literally just the outro to track 7.
Yeah.
It's just the outro, except I think it got recorded in Abbey Road Studios in London.
Yeah.
That's it.
Basically, just almost like the outro to Distant, where it's just them harmonizing. It's just him harmonizing over the melody for that song. Sire in Abbey Road is just the same thing for the song Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make sense because this song's a minute 45, again very short. Like, did it even need to be a separate song? Could you have just included it on Yeah Yeah?
Art, dude. It's just
Okay.
art.
Or maybe because they wanted Yeah Yeah to be like a sort of single that people would play in a club or something, and they didn't want to include that outro to it. That's the only reason I can think of.
Track 9 is 1010, and this is, I believe, I don't know if this actually is, but I think that this is Jaden Smith's expression of interest into Team 10. This is just a mumble rap track. That's
Yeah,
it.
this sounds
Just
this
a brag
actually,
track,
this, to
nothing
me,
else.
Yeah, this to me feels like a throwaway, but it also feels like a Young Thug impression a little bit. Do you feel that?
Oh, I didn't get that, but
Just the tiniest bit.
okay. I'm gonna have to listen back to it
I
again.
can't think of the lines to it. I can't recall the lines to it immediately, but it kind of felt like, it felt like Young Thug just, with, his slowingness of his words, and then with the auto-tune as well, and then him, hitting these weird, weird sounding,
if you hear anything, guys, my housemates decided to be super duper duper loud, but that's alright, just keep going.
Yeah. Oh, there's not too much to say on this album anymore. Oh, for this song, rather, anymore. There's still 2 more tracks to it. First is, our next song is Fallen Part 2. Now, I haven't listened to Fallen Part 1. I believe that was from that's from the Psy album, isn't it?
I think, yeah, like there was Fallen on the Sire album. I was a fan of that. This is a heartfelt apology, I think, isn't it? What, Fallen Part 2?
Fallen Part 2.
Yeah, this is. I think this is an
me-
apology to that ex, because
Okay.
he was talking, so much crap about the ex in this album,
Okay.
and this is an apology, I think.
Okay. Alright. To me, this just felt like another one of those breakup songs. Like
Oh,
the 5
it is
others
a
that are being off.
Breakup
Yeah.
song. This is his attempt at apologizing, because there are a lot of bits in the song where I was like, you're still a bit of a douche.
Yeah. It
He's
doesn't-
talking about how he wants her back, but the thing is, a true apology, if this is an apology,
yeah.
and on Genius it said it's an apology, but if this is a true apology, then you would let that person be. You wouldn't passive aggressively put some things in there talking about how you spent money for her, or you did these things for her and things like that. Like, bro, you're broken up. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. To me, like, this just feels like most of the other songs from this album where he's talking about that. Like, just like Distant, just like Soho. It feels kind of the same until he gets to, like, actually rapping in the third verse. Like, when Jaden, I've said this before, but when he's actually rapping, he can form something that's very well crafted. He can form actually good verses. And verse 3 with the, I said before that, when he drags his rhymes on a little bit too much, they can get bad. These ones are actually really good. He drags on for quite a bit, but they're well executed. Like the, I'm trying to think where it is. Monster and Masterpiece, How It Has to Be, changes drastically. That sort of flow right there, I think he articulates it a lot better, but that feels a lot, should have silenced my phone before I did this.
He's really popular, guys.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like the third verse was a really saving grace for this album, but other than that, there's not much to it, and we gotta wrap it up with this last one.
Alright, so real quickly, track 11, which is the last track on the album. I didn't put any notes, I think, simply because this was a big drone. He just drones in this, doesn't he?
He did kind of, exactly the same content as you would expect from another song. But I do like the production for this one.
Okay, yeah.
Boy Wonder produced it. If you don't know who Boy Wonder is, you're living under a rock.
Who's Boy Wonder?
Okay, that's the end of the podcast.
Real quick, final thoughts on this album, though.
It doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't feel like a fantastic introduction to who Jay is. I feel like maybe if I went back and listened to Sire, maybe that will give me a better impression from him. But if you're going into Jaden Smith for the first time, this album here probably isn't the way to go to it, because you'll probably find a lot more negatives in his style and personality than positives.
I think when I've listened to this album like 5 times already. The first few times, basically all the times when I wasn't analysing it and I was listening to it kind of in the background, you know, on the train, on the bus and things like that, it sounded good as something that I'm not trying to pay attention to. Like, it was totally acceptable. But then, after analysing it here with Nick tonight, looking through the lyrics, trying to, like, catch what he's saying and things like that, I don't think it pulls through.
Yeah.
I don't think it's nowhere near as good as Sire. I feel like I haven't analysed Sire properly, but I've listened to it so many times. And I haven't read the lyrics to it, okay? Because I'm pretty sure that he's going to say a lot of dumb things.
Yeah.
But as an art thing, I prefer Sire more than this one as well. And also as like a thing that I would play regularly, I like Sire more than this. What would you rate out of 10?
This one, I'd probably give it... I'd actually give it a 3.
Yeah, I was about to say 3 as well.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, we are totally in sync. Other than that, I think that's everything that we've got to discuss on this podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, but also thank you for sticking around this long. It has been an hour and 16 minutes.
Wow.
Which is a very long time.
That's quite
but I think that's about the same as last time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're an hour and 13.
Yeah, 13.
Thank you everyone for listening to this podcast.
Thanks so much.
Just subscribe if you want to listen to more and things like that. Leave a comment to like give any constructive criticism. Are my housemates too loud? Are we tapping the table too much? I don't know. Is Nick just really boring?
Am I? Scott? Something you want to tell me?